Welcome to the knowinggod.org section called Good News. We're happy you're here. There once was a guy who came home from work in a hurry because his friends were coming over and they were all going to go out to eat together. And as he walked in the house, he gave his son a hug and kissed his wife and went into the bedroom to change clothes. And as he was changing, his friends come over and he got into the comfy clothes and he walked out into the living room and they all joked about their days, and so they walked out of the house to go into the van. As he was closing the door and reaching his hand into his pocket, the man realized that there were no keys there. Panic set in, and his friends kind of laughed, "Oh, it'll be okay." After about 4 or 5 minutes in the house, the man realized, "Oh man, I really can't find these keys." And so he called his friends in, and they came in. They looked. 10 to 15 minutes later, they were all kind of worried that they weren't actually going to find the keys. At that point, when all hope seemed lost, his friend yelled from the back porch in a weird corner, "I found him." They were rejoicing at that moment. They were excited that they found the keys, so they went outside, locked the door, and got in the van. That was me. That was my family and my friends. That actually happened. And I remember that moment when my friend yelled that he found the keys in the corner. That was an amazing moment. It was a great feeling of relief. But I also remember, and joy, but I also remember that sinking feeling I felt when I didn't have those keys. It was like, man, panic. The great thing is that we know that we have a God who looks for us like keys that are lost, but in a far greater way. And so the good news of this short, true-to-life story, at least for me, and maybe you've experienced the same thing, I'm certain some of you listening have, is that God is looking for us and has always been looking for us, like that set of keys. We want to share good news with you, and that is, like I just said, that God is looking for us. And so if you're interested in that, and if maybe you're feeling lost today, or you've felt lost most of your life, just have this sinking feeling that something isn't right, that you're alone in the world. Well, we want to encourage you that that's not true. And there is a God who is looking for you. We have several videos about stories about how God looks for us and others. So if you're interested, if you need encouragement today, if you're feeling lost today, go ahead and click on the ones that follow.
Jesus told a story about finding lost things too. He told it to a mixed group of people. Some didn't think they needed help. Some knew they had issues in life. Some of them were happy to be with Jesus, listening to him, and some were frustrated by him, wanted to challenge him. It starts like this. Now all the tax collectors and sinners were coming to hear him, but the Pharisees and the experts in the law were complaining. This man welcomes sinners and eats with them. This first group is called tax collectors and sinners. These were people that were despised by the so-called religious leaders of their day. They were coming to Jesus and happy to be with him. The second group is called Pharisees and experts in the law. These people were complaining about Jesus and frustrated by him. Notice the contrast here, coming versus complaining. So Jesus responds to the complaint there that he welcomes sinners and even eats with them. Now, mealtime is important for many cultures around the world, and it was in Jesus' time too. Meals are a time of joy and fellowship and sharing, and you usually invite people that are like-minded. So put yourself in the shoes of one of these two groups. Maybe you fall into both at different times, or you really are most like one of these kinds of people. Are you the person who is doing okay? You've got it together and are following all the rules and don't break the law. You think you deserve good rewards, have a good karma going on, but you look down on others who don't fit into your circles. Or maybe you fall into the category of social outcast, where you're hated by a lot of people, like someone who works for the IRS, who even today we really don't like tax collectors doing. This kind of person, and no, I'm not talking about IRS employees, knows they are doing something wrong and willingly admits it and comes to hear Jesus. Now, Jesus tells a couple of stories to answer the complaint of the second group, that he is eating with the outcast and the despised kinds of people.